Think hard about this answer. It's important that you make this decision, not me. You're the only one that can decide if you are ready and have what it takes to walk the road less traveled. No one else can do this for you. There is no advice that you can receive. There is nothing to learn, and there's nothing to know. How do we get everything that we've always wanted? Start with this question. Is it possible? Believe nothing. Nothing. If you believe anything, you are pushing away from you everything you always wanted. It's a simple question. Ask yourself if you know with 100% certainty that you feel an experience inside you. The only way to answer this question, yes or no, is to feel an experience inside you. What is that experience? Is it another thing you learned from a guru who succeeded? Is it more helpful information? Is it a pathway toward a measurable result? Of course not. What is it? It's truth. Believe nothing. Experience truth. This is the pathway on the road less traveled to getting everything you've always wanted. It's that simple. Why doesn't everyone do this? Why? Why don't we all have everything that we've always wanted? If you answer no to the question, is it possible for anyone in this world, regardless of their circumstances? That is the key to this question. Regardless of their circumstances, to get everything they've always wanted. If you answer no, you are not ready. You are not ready. You are not ready to get everything you've always wanted. You will not be ready until you answer yes. I'm not saying to believe anything. I am saying inside yourself, do you know with 100% certainty through an experience of opening inside yourself a portal to truth? If the answer is, it is possible, and anyone, regardless of their circumstances, can get everything they've always wanted, you are ready. For what? To get everything you've always wanted. If you come up with a number, I want $100 million, and you think long and hard about that number, And you feel an emotional energy around that number and you believe it and you know it's going to happen. And you work towards that number. Will you get that number? Will it happen? Will that money end up in your bank account? No, of course not. That's not how it works. That's crazy. That is a lie being sold to you by someone trying to sell something. What is true? You must find out for yourself. No one can tell you anything. When you have decided that you will get everything that you've always wanted in life, regardless of your circumstances. This is what I call a pathway to becoming a top 1% entrepreneur measured by things that cannot be measured. That, to me, is all that matters. That is why we are here. It is the only reason we are here. And to help other people. Is there anything else that matters? No, nothing else matters. Well, wait a minute. I got to pay my mortgage. I want to be successful. Well, it's all important. We live in the world. I want to have a ton of money. I love money. I love money. I've made a lot of money. Do you think I've made a lot of money? I don't care. Is a lot of money to you 100 million? Is a lot of money to you 5 billion? I don't care. I don't compare myself to anybody. I have everything I've always wanted inside. Do the outside circumstances matter? No. Are they important? Of course. If you want to live in a hut in the woods, and that's what you've always wanted, do that. There are people who want that, and that's all they've ever wanted. If you're an entrepreneur and that's what you want, you probably haven't been very successful. You're pushing yourself a bit, right? Because what you've always wanted is to live in a hut in the woods and be by yourself, and you're out here hustling. That's not going to work. If inside yourself, your truth is that you are here to be on a big stage, if your truth is you are here to do incredible things in this world, if your truth is you are here to make a ridiculous amount of money because it's necessary to allow you to get everything you've always wanted, it will happen. How do you know? You will know. You already know. Why would you be pursuing entrepreneurship if that wasn't part of the vision? You wouldn't. You'd be doing something else. You'd be working for a not-for-profit. You'd be sitting up in a mountain in Tibet. Is this starting to make sense? I'm going to talk about vision today and a pathway to get everything you've always wanted without setting up the external conditions first. Everything we were taught is wrong. Everything. We are doing everything backwards in this modern society. everything. We have decided that once we get this, then we will get everything we've always wanted. But we have to have first measurable results and success, and then we will have freedom of time, money, whatever. It doesn't work that way. It's backwards. You start inside. You transcend your limited mind. You do not have to do crazy meditation to do this. Again, somebody's selling you a bill of goods. If that's what they're selling, you do not have to. It is a part of it at some point. Yes, when you're ready for it. And then it will be easy. It will just happen automatically. Today, I will be offering, only today, 3 30-minute sessions at no charge for those who meet the 5 conditions in the questions on the Calendly. Put that link in to a URL. Take a look at those 5 questions and answer them honestly. I will know if you answered it honestly or not. As I'm connected to truth and universal wisdom all of the time in the moment of now, which is an unbreakable moment when you are connected to truth, your own truth from inside, and you've established that condition inside yourself, you're not going to be able to lie to me. But you'll be able to lie to yourself. So don't. Ask yourself. Read those questions. You don't want to meet with me if you have the wrong answer to those questions. It won't work. You're not ready. What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about what I'm about to talk about, except we're going to talk about you. And I'm going to do it with 3 people today. I have time on my calendar. I've opened it up to do this. I want to do this. Why? It's part of what I've always wanted. I have always wanted access to all of the wisdom of the world. I remember back to being 5 years old and wondering, how does it all work? I'm not saying that you are there or were there. Of course not. Maybe you were. That's not the point. The point is, that's what I always wanted. I always wanted to know how it worked. When I was 21 years old, I went into the Northwestern University Library and I looked at the stacks. And I felt a surge of emotion inside myself that was so powerful. I cried. How did I know that that mattered to me? That that was part of what I always wanted? I didn't. Why? Because everything we were taught is wrong. I was there to do something. I'm not there to pay attention to what's going on inside myself. That's not how to live. I got a mission. I got a goal. I wrote down these things. I got to get it done. There's a grade involved. You see, we block ourselves from getting everything we've always wanted because we've already decided what we've wanted, even when we don't know, when we have no idea, because what we want has been established through a belief system that we have taken on as an inner truth. Every wisdom tradition throughout the history of human beings clearly explains that's not how it works. It never has, it doesn't now, and it never will. So why are we all doing this? Why? I don't know. I think it's insane. Why did I spend my entire life chasing something outside of myself, thinking that if I got it, something would change inside myself? Because that's what I saw. Everybody who had everything that I wanted, everything that I wanted, was doing that. All the people I admired were doing that. They were trying to make something happen outside of themselves first. That's all I knew. When I was in my 20s, I lived in the South Loop in Chicago. I was walking on Dearborn, and there was a little sign outside of Grace Place Church, and it said Tai Chi class. And I just knew, I'm going to do this. And I went in, and there were 60 people there. And I just remember feeling something is happening here. Something is coming for me. I was not happy with my life at the time. I was working in a family business that I was helping build on the road, selling clothes, children's clothes, to little stores and department stores all over the Midwest, driving a van up to Minneapolis in winter, in January, filled with racks of clothes. That wasn't a lot of fun. Thank God I did all that. I did not know then, without that experience, I would not be able to do what I'm doing now. I would not have been able to get everything that I've always wanted and know how to do business in the way I understand business. Without that experience, that pain was necessary. It built something inside me, but it wasn't what I wanted to be doing. As you realize that the answers are inside, you won't miss the moments. Why? They happen in a continuous flow all the time. All the time. This is life. We miss life because we have decided what we want, and it isn't what we really want. It is possible to experience life as a state of continuous moments where you feel inside that you already have and are getting everything. You're not getting, you already have in this moment of now, everything that you've always wanted. Why? Because you've recognized everything you were taught about how to be whatever you are was wrong. There is nothing outside to get. There is a moment to exist in. That's it. Well, wait, how do I do that? I'll never make any money. Okay, let's talk about vision. And this is what this session's about. Now I'm going to set up how this works. Now, some of you won't need the session, you'll be done. Others will not benefit from this session because you're not ready. You're just not ready. We are all called to adventure all the time through this continuous flow of opportunities that, when we are open inside, call us to action. My library opportunity I ignored. I did not ignore the Tai Chi opportunity, and I'm going to get back to that in a minute. When these opportunities come, because they're coming constantly, are you paying attention? If you are, and you exist in them, you will get everything that you've always wanted. There are conditions, and that's what we're going to talk about. If you pick a number, $7 million, and say, if I create a new self inside and I believe in all this stuff that's being taught, it shouldn't happen and hopefully won't. Why? The moment you experience the future that you've always wanted, the experience of life in flow that you've always wanted, that is the beginning of getting it. That's how you create a vision. You know. It may not be what you expect, but it's what you know is right. It will always be exactly what you want. Always. If you take an apple from a tree and you hold it out, does it fall up or down? This works the same way. The laws of reality always work. The principles of reality always work. Always. They're not subjective. You don't get to decide how reality works. It just works. It's always worked the way it works. It's not up to you. You either exist in it or decide what you want and go chase it. And that's fine. If that's the life you want to have and you're satisfied with that, I don't see anything wrong with it. The road less traveled is not crowded. That's why I call it the top 1%. Is it 1%? Probably about that. That's it. Is that you? You're not listening to this if it's not. You would have been gone a long time ago thinking I'm crazy or just got bored because you're busy. Well, I got an appointment. I got money to make. Of course, you're going to make money if that's what you're supposed to do. If you have a feeling inside, I'm supposed to be this thing, and that includes being known and successful, then it's going to happen. There's conditions. First, vision. What do you really want? How do you find out? It's inside. You'll know, like my library experience and my Tai Chi experience. Flush it out. See what's there. Go deeper into that experience in your mind. Don't do anything. You can't make this happen. Well, now what? Well, if I just sit back and think about it long enough, of course not. We're confused. We must take action, and that action will be difficult. The journey through the forest, the trials that are ahead of you to get everything you've always wanted are challenging. It doesn't feel that way, though, when you begin to exist in flow through connection into universal wisdom, which is found through a pathway inside yourself. Well, how do I know what to do? On September 20th, 2020, at 5 o'clock in the morning, a little voice came to me and said, get up. Get up. It's time. Time for what? It's time. Now I know. 3 years later, Red Pill Pathway begins September 20th, exactly as I always wanted it to begin. Always. Exactly as I always wanted it to begin. After being rejected by 15 people who thought my sales process was atrocious when I didn't even have one. What was I doing? What was I doing? Step 2 in making a vision real is to do what's asked of you immediately. You don't create a life where you get everything that you've always wanted sitting on the couch. I have for 3 years done everything that has been asked of me by that little voice. Everything without exception. Without exception. Now, I have everything I've always wanted. Will it take 3 years for you? It doesn't matter. Depends how stubborn you are. I'm pretty stubborn. What's third? Allow the success to come. I knew, I knew that I was going to succeed. I knew. And then everybody that I knew would benefit and whose lives would be transformed by joining Red Pill Pathway said no, every one of them. I'm too busy. I don't need another coaching program. Your marketing and sales approach was terrible, even though I didn't have one. Why? They weren't ready. Do they need to be ready? No. What does this mean? I got the result. It happened because there's 3 things I could have done to screw it up. First, take back control. Well, I had 3 years of practicing doing what was asked of me. So taking back control at a certain point is not an option. You just know, like, I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to be able to figure it out. I'm just going to do what's asked, even though it makes no sense. And I know, wow, if I send this thing to these people, my atrocious sales process, I'm going to get a lot of advice back telling me I don't know what I'm doing in terms of sales. Does it feel humiliating? Does it feel embarrassing when I do understand how sales works? No, I don't care. Because I knew it was the right thing to do. I do what's asked of me. If I take back control, I lose. I will not get everything I've always wanted. Second, it was very, very important for me to understand that I would always know exactly what that vision was meant to be by experiencing it deep inside myself. Allowing that connection to expand, emerge first, and then expand inside myself allowed me to gain access to this universal wisdom, which is available to all of us when we do what I'm talking about. If I had blocked that, I would not have succeeded. Third, force results. Make it happen. It will never work. There is a lot of action involved in this process. You are not waiting for something to happen ever, but you are not deciding what that action is. Let's go back to Tai Chi. I did Tai Chi for about 8 years, and I expanded my energetic openness inside myself, and I prepared myself. And then I got into sailboat racing and drinking. There was one person who finished. It was a 10-year program. One who finished. I wanted it to be me. It was not me. Years later, that experience mattered. It has allowed me to do things beyond my wildest dreams now. When an opportunity comes to you, you will know it's right. You must take it. I don't care how busy you are. I don't care if you think it's another coaching program. I don't care what you think. When the opportunity comes, you'll know, and you need to take it. I'll see 3 of you today. on the vision session. Schedule now if you want.